We watch shows online and we rate them. Talk about how much we love them or hate them. Yes, we're like everyone else on the internet, no need to get chatty. But hey, if you enjoy people ranting for hours, welcome friend to Bingeworthy. Hello and welcome to a special edition of Bingeworthy. I'm Yana.
I'm Rebecca.
And today we are discussing the musical episode of Once Upon a Time, which has just come out on Netflix.
Indeed we are.
So, neither one of us is really up to date on our Once Upon a Time.
No.
I am more up to date than she is.
I've seen season 1. I've seen season 2. I've seen the first 2 episodes of season 3. A few episodes from season 4. A smattering from season 5. So, I know what happens in between. But we have no idea what happened in season 6 so far.
Yeah, considering you're the one who got me into this show, shame on you.
That's because you watched it while I was still coming over.
True.
So
I am very, very stubborn, even when shows go really, really, really bad. I'm a bit of a completionist. So I powered through this whole entire insanity up to the end of season 5, and I've watched a couple of episodes of season 6. Haven't watched the rest of season 6 yet. Planning to watch it eventually. I have a very strange relationship with this show. When I first saw it, I thought it was terrible beyond belief, even though you were trying very hard to convince me that it wasn't as bad. The problem is the first episode I watched was what I still consider one of the worst episodes ever. It was dreamy.
Oh my god.
It was the season 1 episode about Grumpy and the fairy.
I mean, I didn't have quite as violent reaction towards it as
I
you
had
did.
a really violent reaction
Very
to
violent
it.
reaction.
I thought it was so bad.
I liked little bits from it. I thought it was terribly, terribly overly sweet.
I honestly hated it beyond belief, so it took me a very... I had another friend who was watching the show as well, so quite a lot of people were telling me about it, but it took me quite a long time to get over my initial hate of it. This is a really bad show.
Oh god,
but
it's terrible. I enjoyed the first season, I think, because when it came out, you weren't sure who was going to end up being who, and there was a certain amount of fun to finding out. And discovering the characters and discovering their backstories and what Disney was doing with the classic fairy tale characters. I found season 2 a little bit hard going, but that wasn't so much
I liked season 2 much better than season 1.
As I was going to say, that wasn't because of the show so much as because I was watching it in company who had very different opinions to me and who kept criticizing characters I liked. And so it made watching it kind of awkward. I was just sitting there going, no, but I like that character, stop being mean. And I think that detracted a lot from my enjoyment of the show. When you've got to spend most of the show defending characters instead of just enjoying the show, it makes it, less enjoyable.
But I think what we both, it's like when we say it's really, really bad, it's really, really bad, which I'm sure you know if you're watching this, but it's bad in a sort of this self-awarely enjoyable way. Like you should know, if you're watching this, you should know what you're getting into.
Sometimes it's not that self-aware. Sometimes I want to hit it over the true believer thing. The true believer thing really needs to stop.
It's extremely cringeworthy.
Oh.
But we
talk about cringeworthy, but no, Once Upon a Time takes it to a whole new level of cringe.
No, absolutely. That's like all the
they deserve an Oscar and an Olympic medal.
But all of that said, we did watch it and we did enjoy it. So what does that say about us?
What did we do every episode? We had to stop watching it.
We had to stop watching
to
scream
because we would watch one episode and it would take us 3 hours because we'd stop it every 2 seconds to yell about how little internal logic this world has and how much nonsense they're writing and how much retconning they do.
But again, I feel like it's okay to diss on the show, but at the same time we did watch it, so you can't...
Well, no,
we don't blame anyone who watches it. I understand the enjoyability of it.
Enjoy. I mean, not like Season 4 wasn't enjoyable.
Season 4 was boring. But never mind. We're going
Season 4
from...
had little Bo Peep as a warlord who didn't have an army!
You get really hung up on that. I didn't really...
I will never forgive it for that. She's not a warlord. She's a bandit. There's a difference. I'm never going to forgive them for that. That is just one step too far.
But anyway, so this little interlude into our experience with Once Upon a Time aside, when I heard there was a musical episode, I mean, I was planning on watching the rest of season 6 sometime in the future anyway, but when I heard there was a musical episode, I was like, yeah, okay, that's it. We have to watch this. So we have just come back to Once Upon a Time, especially to see the musical episode.
Yes. I'm way behind. I had to Google the plotline because I had no idea what was going on with the Black Fairy and everything.
I'm fairly aware, but not really very caught up. So, you're usually the plot person. Would you like to go into what this episode is about? It's not like there's much plot in it, but...
Quick recap. Okay.
Quick recap.
Alright, so... we cycle back...
Oh, spoilers.
Oh yes, spoilers. Guys, this is not a non-spoiler episode.
Yes.
Spoilers.
Not interrupting the plot queen here. She might poison me with the apple cider. We've got apple cider because that's appropriate. Oh well. You realize I'm immune to it because true love and shit. Or because I have a song in my heart. Do you think we should sing about this episode? No? No? Okay, no more singing.
Start with a flashback to Emma, baby Emma, little Emma, who is humming, and another girl from the foster home she's in comes along and tells her that she's not a singer.
Or rather, nobody wants to hear her sing, because she's looking at like a karaoke competition or something, and you know, the huge drama is somebody comes and tells her, hey, nobody cares about your singing.
Yeah, and so she gives up and stops. Now we flash back to classic Once Upon a Time territory. Just after Snow and Charming have been to talk to Rumpelstiltskin after they realise that they're pregnant with Emma and that the evil queen is planning on cursing. They are really upset.
They have their usual conversation that we've heard in at least 20 episodes of Once Upon a Time.
I will always find you.
No, not that one. He doesn't say that in this one, oddly enough.
It basically wraps up the same thing.
Well, we need to defeat the evil queen and save our baby. Yes, darling, we're going to defeat the evil queen and save our baby.
True love will always survive. We're going to win because we love each other and we're good and love will always win. And I'm sitting there going, well, love doesn't always win. There are a lot of people in your kingdom who have been in love, including Cinderella, Regina, Rumpel.
Cinderella got her happy ending eventually.
No, she didn't, because she made a contract with Rumpel and Rumpel disappeared her prince.
Yeah, but like eventually.
They don't know that at this point, do they?
Well, yeah, but they are assuming that somewhere in the future she will.
Rumpel is in love with Belle.
Oh, they don't know that though.
Yeah, but Rumpel's in love with Belle. He doesn't get a happy ending. He still doesn't have a happy ending. Ergo,
Okay.
love doesn't work.
Oh yeah, they're completely wrong.
Oh yeah!
It's just that they don't know that they're wrong.
They should know that they're wrong. Snow remembers when Regina was a nice person, very much in love, and did that work out well for her? No!
Not her real soulmate. Not her real soulmate.
Well, she doesn't know that.
Yes, but again, they're assuming that if something's
They're
not working,
terrible
it's
people.
not actual true love.
They're terrible
Oh no,
people.
I mean her real soulmate is dead now, so I don't know.
Yeah,
about
exactly.
that.
It apparently never works for Regina. Laws of the universe are a bit
I mean,
changeable.
thank God, but we won't go into how much I hate Robin. Never
Let's
mind.
not go into how much you hate Robin. We'll stay away.
Hmm.
Okay, so they decide. Snow makes a heartfelt wish upon a star.
I make a heartfelt wish upon a star. Let me please defeat the evil queen.
It's truly terrible. Then the nice part of the episode happens. Because the rest of it's not very well written and the plot is ridiculous.
Yeah, but the plot is always ridiculous.
It's not quite always ridiculous. It's usually ridiculous. This is a special...
When is the last time the plot has not been ridiculous?
Okay,
in
but
Once
there's
Upon a Time?
ridiculous, and there's the song has always been with you in your heart.
By Once Upon a Time standards.
This is bad.
Between here and here, I've watched more of this show than you have.
This is still bad.
Yeah, but like between Once Upon a Time standards, this is like the best. So this is not as bad, and this is really bad. This episode is kind of here.
This episode sucks, plot-wise.
This episode is, trust me, not quite as bad as what I've seen on this show.
There's been worse.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
I take huge umbrage with the whole, the song in your heart has always been
Of course
with
you do, but that's like they always do that with everything.
I know, and I'm sick of it. Anyway, they start singing. Basically, because of Snow's wish, she starts singing, then Charming starts singing, the entire kingdom is singing a happy song.
And let me tell you,
It's amazing.
it's amazing.
It's beautiful. If you have been thinking of not watching this episode, because let's be fair, the trailers of it haven't been necessarily the most flattering.
Yeah, and if you've stopped watching this show because it's kind of shit, and if you don't have a very high tolerance for it, which I sort of do sometimes when I'm in the mood, but this is worth the watch because, first of all, let me tell you, this is where it actually took me a few seconds to go, oh, of course this makes sense because it's Disney. I have completely disconnected, I don't know how I did that in my head, but I had completely disconnected from the fact that this is actually produced by Disney, and I was like, oh yeah, but of course that makes sense because it's Disney. So and Disney does musicals. Well, Disney knows how to do musicals.
Yeah.
And they are good at it. And for the first time, this actually does feel like Disney because they hired somebody quite competent to actually write the music for it. Mm-hmm. This sounds, but I'm sure the world will disagree with me. But for the most part, this was at least more enjoyable. And it probably doesn't sound better objectively speaking, but this was more enjoyable than the recent live action Beauty and the Beast. It's more enjoyable. The songs are, I mean, the new songs that they wrote for the Beauty and the Beast, because obviously the old songs we all know and love. But this is good music. Probably won't win an Oscar, but this is really competently written, hummable, enjoyable, good music. And like right from the moment they started singing, I was like, this is it, you have me. Like if this was how you did your show, I didn't give a damn about your stupid plot. Like musicals make everything better, especially when I'm watching it.
They really do. So they start singing and they come to the surprising and bizarre conclusion, which unfortunately appears to be the way that this world works. So I'm very disappointed to admit that they turn out to be right, because they shouldn't have turned out to be right. It's ridiculous. They
only turn out sort of right.
Well, they turn out objectively right until Regina undoes the spell. So they're right.
Okay.
Their weird logical jump is, oh, we must be singing because I wished on a star. Oh my god, songs must be the most powerful magic of all because they're done with love. We can use our song to defeat Regina.
There's a powerful magic when two hearts something. It's
a nice song.
It's a nice song.
But it makes no goddamn sense. Like, there is literally, you've got to assume that nobody has ever sung before in this country. That nobody's
not to defeat an evil witch.
Well, I can actually see that because it makes no sense and it is not a normal reaction to danger.
It's almost, oh god, this is oddly making me think of Stephen King's It. Remember the moment when one of the boys goes, the only thing I could think of doing was shout out bird names from my bird book to one of the monsters. There's that.
It's
White-crowned sparrow.
It's such a weird concept. And I would have been delighted if it turned out they were completely wrong. It would have been amazing.
Yeah, but that's not in like keeping with
I
the
don't care. It would have been amazing.
show.
I mean, if they had turned up to Regina and started singing at her and she'd just been like, "You're done. Please just shut up. Okay, do you want me to just I don't know. I'll give you baby clothes. Just go away. That would be a more realistic way to defeat Regina with this song, because she'd just be pissed off at how, like, chirpy
Corny.
it is. Anyway, we have some intercutting scenes for Storybrooke. Basic summary of that is Emma is preparing for her wedding. Mary Margaret has offered her dress. Regina and Zelina are trying to find a way to slow down the Black Fairy's curse, which is being placed in the clock tower and is going to come out at Emma and Hook's wedding. And Rumpel is on the side of the Black Fairy because the Black Fairy is his mother. So that's a quick summation of what's happening in Storybrooke until
Nobody really cares. I mean, let's be fair, nobody watches Once Upon a Time for the plot.
So back to the flashback, retconning flashbacky stuff. My favourite thing in the entire episode, because I'm queer, is Regina singing Love Doesn't Stand a Chance, because, oh my god, she does all these David Bowie kind of gyrations and... but yeah, Regina basically is like, why the fuck am I singing Magic Mirror? The Magic Mirror shows all these happy people singing and like, this might stop your curse, and she starts singing Love Doesn't Stand a Chance, and it's amazing.
It's a sassy villain song with her like walking around, because she looks into all of her mirrors and the whole kingdom is singing, and she's like, well, shit, it's difficult to do evil when everyone's like la la la. So basically she goes around the kingdom, like tears Granny's knitting,
She is
kicks tables and like chairs and stuff like that.
Yeah, Regina is in this the least threatening villain ever. She turns up with the dwarves, who don't even attack her, sings a bit at them, kicks things, takes their axe and kind of snaps it, and then disappears again. The only people she kills in the entire scene are her own guards, whose necks she snaps.
Oh yeah, in the beginning of the song
She just goes like
snaps the guard's necks, which, why?
They're the only people she kills in the entire episode. She turns up next to Granny and just takes her knitting and rips it and kicks over her firewood pile. She turns up at, what's the third? Oh yeah, Geppetto's, and takes a chisel and threatens him, but then just throws it across the room. It's like, she doesn't hurt anybody.
It's a
She
song,
just
though.
turns up and is like, fuck you and your happiness, love sucks, and like, throws things. It's like the most petulant display of anger I've ever seen in my life.
Absolutely,
It's amazing.
it's so enjoyable
It's
though.
so much
Those
fun.
first two musical numbers are just great.
They are the top.
really
They're
good.
gorgeous. She
And
does.
the rest of them are good as well.
She then goes to talk to Rumpel and says, "Okay, what the fuck is going on?" But he's like,
And you expect they do. They kind of do a, what did you call that? Like as a
Fake out?
term, a fake out, I guess, with Rumpel, because she goes, "Okay, now tell me what to do. Now sing." And of course, you expect Rumpel to start singing because you expect that the curse has affected him as well. And he looks like he's going to start, and then goes, "Are you kidding me? Like, I'm the dark one. Dark one doesn't sing,"
Yeah.
which was funny, but I would have loved
Rumpel
to
sing. He's
yeah.
such a singing
Robert would be,
character.
Robert would be such a fun person.
So
to...
he's like, "Well, go fix it then. Chop chop, sweetie." And she's like, oh, "Fuck you," and wanders off. Just before this, we have Killian's song, where Snow and Charming go to Captain Hook and are like, "Take us to the evil queen," and he sings a song about revenge. How like, fuck you and your money, all I want is revenge on a crocodile.
So hang on here, like
This was funny.
This was funny because basically what happened was, okay, Regina starts singing her song and I'm enjoying it and I'm watching, and Bex is like that looking at the screen with her
She's
jaw
mesmerizing.
hanging open, and I was like in my head I'm going, okay, does this mean she likes the song or she thinks the song is stupid? This is not that weird what's happening on screen. What is going on? So the song finishes and I'm like, oh, that's really fun. And you go,
That is so fucking hot.
and
I mean, I don't mean it in a sexual way because I'm ace, but that is so mesmerizingly hot.
And I just stared
Oh
at the
my
screen and
God.
I'm like, yeah, okay, that didn't feel so sexy to me.
And I
but
just turned to her,
okay.
which I do frequently, and I'm like, "You're straight."
Like every second sentence you say to me is "you're straight," and I keep
Every
trying
second
to convince
sentence.
you that I can appreciate the fact that Lana Maria is sexy. I just,
but
But I usually just don't like evil Queen Regina.
Yeah,
I
just
like
because
Mayor
you're
Regina.
straight.
No, that's not the thing, though.
Oh my god! Oh, believe me, it is. All the gay people I talk to like evil Queen Regina.
I just find Mayor Regina or Storybrooke Regina so much more attractive than the evil Queen.
I like Storybrooke Regina too. I like both of them in different ways.
She's much sexier, but okay, I was denying the fact that this was happening because I'm super straight up until the moment, like the first 3 notes of Killian's song, where he basically starts singing in an open shirt, and like within 5 seconds of the song, I'm like, yeah, okay, you're right, I'm super straight.
Yes,
this is really
so hot. And I was on my phone and I looked up a little bit and I was like, you're really straight, honey. I looked back down at my phone because he's a good looking guy, he's cute, he's sweet. It's just like, so it's nice enough.
He is cute in this. Well, I always appreciate a guy singing, but he's anything you could ask for this. It's so campy and it's so cheerful for a revenge song.
It is a very bouncy revenge song.
It's a very bouncy revenge song, and he's wondering about the tavern with his pirates and his open shirt. It's really hot.
Regina's really hot. You've got both sides here, people.
Yeah, okay, so hopefully you'll find at least one of them really hot.
Yeah, we're gonna find something hot in this episode.
Yeah.
And I went to the panel because I was like, is this just me and my fixation on Lana Parrilla? So I shared the clip with one of my bi friends who was just like, oh my god, that's fucking hot. I was like, I know, right? I know!
I don't see it. I mean,
I know. Anyway, moving on. After Rumpel's like, you've got to prove that I picked the right witch, we zoom out to Zelina, who I keep wanting to call Zelena.
or you keep wanting to call her Zelena?
Yeah, I really do. So she's been watching, and then she starts singing a song, which I thought was quite interesting, fun, which is like, evil might be powerful, but wicked always wins. And she's singing about how she's going to enjoy Regina getting her life destroyed, and how Rumpel will see he picked the wrong horse. And she decides to make this box and send it to Regina to help her defeat the power of song.
Yeah, basically she decides that she'll help Regina defeat Snow and Charming, and then she'll go there and take her happy ending away from her.
It's a ridiculous plot.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, no one cares. We just wanted to see the song, let's face it.
Yeah.
Okay, so at this point in Storybrooke, we've discovered that Emma's feeling a little bit... Emma's got the Black Witch turning up.
Black Fairy.
Too many black things.
Too many black things.
We're not racist. And saying basically, I need your heart, give me your heart. Emma's like, no way, Jose, we're going to wait for the final battle. I still have no idea what this is all about. But Regina and Zelena create this thing that can stop the curse. Hook kind of time stop, like drugs Rumpel to stop him from helping his mom. Yeah. But his mom turns up and gets Hook.
Stuff is happening in Storybrooke that we don't care about, as they attempt to defeat the
They're not singing, so it's not interesting. Regina and Zelena find a way to stop the curse. They're there with Charming and Snow. Rumpel turns up and takes the curse.
Steals their potion
that will stop time, and uses it to freeze them. And then when
so everyone's frozen now. They're literally just frozen. They're standing there.
Mannequins. Oddly enough, they all froze like this. Nobody got frozen like this. Or like this. Or like that.
Because that would be inconvenient to stay like this for a long time.
So Emma turns up to challenge the Black Fairy to a fight. The Black Fairy's like, oh look, your entire family.
They're frozen.
Here's your song that you once tried to sing but didn't. You're a really weak orphan. And Emma freaks out and loses her magic and runs away. And then she goes to talk to Henry, and Henry's like, it's okay, Mom, you can do this, I believe in you. And Emma's like, well, I can't though, but maybe I can go sacrifice myself for everybody. That seems like a good plan. Yeah,
Oh,
let's
seems
do
like a
that.
good plan.
Let's go back to the Enchanted Forest again. So, Snow and Charming turn up in Regina's palace. And are like, Regina, where are you? And Regina turns up and is like, yo, what the fuck are you guys doing here? Psych, I knew you were going. And Charming and Snow start singing at her. And unfortunately, it actually works.
Yeah, so she prepares to throw a fireball at them, and they sort of look at each other and smile and start singing "When Two Hearts," whatever their song was. There's a powerful magic when two hearts.
Literally, none of these people want to kill each other, because we then have this hilarious and I thought really fun scene. Like, I'm not arguing. This was a fun scene. Of Regina singing her sassy song and trying to conjure up fireballs, but then not.
We're doing a mashup sing-off, basically.
And Snow and Charming kind of waving swords at her without actually intending to do any damage. Both of them just kind of go, look, I've got weapons and I'm singing.
Yeah, nobody's trying to hurt anyone. They're clearly not actually trying to stop her. They're more using the weapons as props as they're dancing around to their
and
song.
She's clearly not even trying to throw a fireball at them. Like, she doesn't try. She just keeps trying to conjure them. And then they finally have her at sword point and they're like, come quietly. And she's like, I have you right where I want you. Let me just take your song. And she opens up the little box that Zelina sent her. And Ursula, like, witchy magic takes their song away.
Their song away. Now they can't sing anymore. They can only talk.
Yeah. And then
Because
she's like, seriously? And zips them back to their palace, which I thought, like, nobody's trying to kill anybody at this point. She's just like, oh my god, you guys are so dumb. Go home. And they're like, oh my god, none of our magic worked. And Blue turns up and is like, guys, the magic was always a song for Emma's heart.
One is this whole episode is about Emma feeling alone again. And how, you know, she can't defeat the Black Fairy without her family, and now her family's frozen, which means that she's alone because of reasons. Yeah. Even though Henry's still there and not frozen and doesn't seem to be affected by anything. And by the way, he's looking cuter and cuter by the minute. He's past the awkward stage between like a little kid and a... He's gonna become a really handsome guy. He's gonna be a heartthrob in a few years. Anyway, segue. And so... the whole episode is about Emma overcoming this feeling that she's alone, and at the same time we're retconning that she was never alone. Like, that's our tagline here. She was never alone because Blue took everyone's songs from the Enchanted Forest and sort of injected them into Snow's pregnant belly, where they ended up in Emma's heart. So she's always had this song in her heart that is actually everyone's song, so they've always been with her. That's what we're going for here.
Then we get, like, the least enjoyable song, where Emma goes to the Black Fairy and is like, so take my heart and let my family be, and the Black Fairy takes her heart, but finds she can't crush it and has to drop it because it's too hot. And
that's because of the magic of...
Henry turns up and is like, Emma, you always have them with you. The song, Emma, the song.
Yeah, because he finds like yet another page in the book that wasn't there before that shows up with the whole... Magically.
And then she starts singing and...
it's the worst song in this episode.
And she starts using her magic and waking everyone up and... puts her heart back. It's not a great song. It's the weakest song.
Yeah, it's definitely the weakest song. Jennifer doesn't... I don't know. Let's talk a little bit about Jennifer Morrison leaving the show, which I didn't know until a couple of days ago because I'm not following on all the gossip and what's going on. I'm sure lots of people are devastated, but I can really understand why. I can see that she's...
Emma has done everything that is humanly possible for a character to do.
And the story is so recycled. Her story arc ended a long time ago. I know the same can be said about our other characters, but Emma is the straight man in this. And she just looks... I don't know if that's how much of this is the character, because she's meant to look worried and kind of harrowed and she looks really bad in this season, which fits the story. But at the same time, I feel like Jennifer herself is like, oh, please go. I'm over this. Please let me go. And it kind of comes across a little bit in her acting as well, because I feel like her heart really isn't in it. And the other problem is that this show has spent a lot of time after the first couple seasons. They spent a lot of time and energy trying to turn the character of Emma Swan into a Disney princess, which is the worst possible thing you could do.
No, the thing that really attracted me to Emma when I started watching it for the first time was that she wasn't. I was really worried that the original character, who was the daughter of Snow White and Prince Charming, who was sent to our modern world because she was the saviour of the fairy tale land, was going to be the most horrendous Mary Sue. That sounds like an incredibly bad character setup.
Yeah.
But when I watched her, there was something charming about how awkward she was, and not in like a Bella Swan kind of way, but in like a believable
like an Emma
way.
Swan sort of way.
A humorous kind of badass, but slightly awkward with people because she's a bounty hunter and an orphan. I could buy it. It was an interesting character, and it didn't feel too princessy. She just eye-rolled at people when they tried to do nonsensical fairy tale stuff and was like, seriously? I have a gun.
That's what
Why?
this character was about, and they've been having issues with her ever since they forced her to go all cheesy and all Snow and Charming and go, oh, I accept now my fairy tale past and I'm your daughter and this is so... The moment she started going super cheesy, they lost hold of the character and they've been having trouble with her.
She was
ever
more
since.
interesting when she was saying, look guys, I kind of get you're my parents, but you're my age. And I don't know you. And this is awkward. That was more interesting, and then they could have built a relationship off that. But
I
tried
feel
to
like
shoehorn her too much into the fairy tale archetype, and now it's kind of like the character doesn't have any stability.
Yeah, I feel like both the character and the actress, at least the way I see it, felt a little bit uncomfortable saying lines that were Disney princess-like and doing things that were very Disney princess-like. There are only so many times. You can have one little moment of her being very insecure and very vulnerable, and Henry going there and going, no, you're actually this, you're a fairy tale character, you're a princess, you're a savior, you're all of that. You can have that once, maybe twice, but it's been so much of that, and it's so out of character for her that it's become just really awkward to watch. And that's how this song feels.
Oh yeah.
Because it's a very, I feel it in my heart song, and not in a powerful way. She's there crying and going, oh, I understand now my parents. And this is why the song doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's just not Emma.
It's very Cosette.
A little bit.
It's very ingenue. And it would have been better to have a more belty, fuck you and the horse you rode in song. Something a bit more along the lines of either Killian's or Regina's, something more bouncy and kind of modern. Would have been better.
That would have been better.
But anyway, she sings her song, she frees her family, and then they have the wedding, which is very Disney princessy.
The only issue I have with the wedding is that once again, the dress is ridiculously unlike Emma. What are you doing with this character? This is not something Emma Swan would wear. Yeah. It's really old-fashioned and it has this lace and it has this veil, and I just feel like that's not the right person, and I can see her being uncomfortable.
Her to wear a white sheath dress, perhaps, like the red dress she wore in the first episode. Something sexy and like...
Emma's old leather jackets and boots, and I'm not saying put her in a leather jacket at her wedding, but
something more modern.
Just feels...
People.
Old.
Modern. She is a modern woman from a modern city. Yeah. So yeah, they have a relatively nice group number singing at the wedding, and then the curse breaks, and everybody's like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, and that's how the episode ends. And we've got 2 episodes until the end of this season, which promise to be really epic. And I think we may potentially review them because I'd like to see them.
I'd like to see
They're
them.
coming out.
We do
on
tend
Netflix.
to do this. Like I've seen the end episodes for all the seasons. I think except season. No, I've seen the end episodes for all the seasons. I think.
Yeah, they're coming out. I think tonight on ABC. So you might be watching them now. But they're coming out on Netflix on the 17th. So we'll probably watch them,
we'll
say a few
probably
words about that. But overall, really, it sort of kind of loses momentum a little bit towards the end because of all the cheesiness and because it's a resolution to a really dumb plot. But definitely the first 2/3 of this episode, they're extremely enjoyable. The songs are definitely quality material. They sound well. I can't tell how much of it is auto-tune, which is good if I can't tell how much. I'm sure there's some in it. My ear can't catch it too much. So they sound decent. They're really fun, enjoyable episode, worth a watch.
Yeah, I'd agree. It was a good watch. I didn't have the usual, oh my god, something cringy is going to happen soon reaction, which I tend to do when I'm watching a Once Upon a Time episode. I just enjoyed it. It was fun.
So I'll definitely be downloading the soundtrack to this.
Yeah, it was a good soundtrack.
And, it's made me want to watch the next couple ones, even though they'll probably be terrible. Yeah. So thanks for watching, we'll see you next time in another episode of Bingeworthy. I don't know what it's going to be, but we'll see you next time.